In this video, we're going to show you how to get rid of the hack of a WordPress website. So unfortunately, this website here has been hacked by this individual. What we're going to do is remove the problematic hacking that's going on. There's different ways that hacks operate, and hopefully this one's not too complicated, but this is one of the reasons why I recommend doing a manual upgrade to a WordPress installation. So you need to do a manual upgrade, main reason being that you get to remove the offending file. So every time you're upgrading someone's WordPress, if you do the automatic upgrade, you can end up with a website that is going to be hackable at any stage down the track. This guy's probably left some files on the server, so we need to remove them manually and also upgrade the site. So what I'm going to do is go into Firefox here, and we're going to go into Tools and go to Fire FTP, and we're going to install, go into my hard drive, and I'm going to log in. So first thing I'm going to do is log into the file and the hosting, and we're going to basically remove all the old version of WordPress and install a new version. Okay, so right away, the thing that I'm seeing here is this blog2.php file. I'm going to remove that, and hopefully that restores the website back to normal. So 9 times out of 10, hacks that are able to get into the server will install a file that ends up becoming the home page of the website. So I'll go in and delete that. And that's been deleted. So while I'm deleting files on the server, I'm going to download the newest version of WordPress. So that'll be downloaded right now. Okay, I'm going to transfer that to my hard drive because we're going to get ready to upload that into the website. So the other file I'm going to delete now for this website is this one here, and that one will be deleted. So the public.php. So essentially what I'm trying to do to restore the website is look for files that don't seem to belong, especially on the main public HTML folder, because what I'm trying to do is replicate what is essentially the WordPress installation. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is delete these files that just don't seem to be the ones that should be there. So right click and delete that as well. Now what I'll do is go back into Safari, and so it's still hacked, which is a bit of an issue. So now what we'll do next is go into here, and we've just got to try to find why and how it's been hacked. So the next step will be to delete these files here. That one, and we're going to basically shift click everything else, and basically going to definitely not delete the config file. So we're going to leave that alone, but just making sure that these are all WP files that need to be deleted. And we're going to leave these HTML pages alone. So we're going to delete those. Okay, so we'll delete those pages as well. So now what we're going to do is a full manual installation. to delete all the files that need to go. Okay, we're also going to delete the WP includes. Now remember, we leave the WP config file alone. We definitely leave that in there. And this is for anyone that's upgrading their existing WordPress installation and manually upgrading it to a newer version, but it also covers off the fact that we're dealing with a hack at the same time. So we've got a hacked website as well. The next file area that we're going to fix up and delete is the WP admin. So we're going to delete that as well. Now what that will mean is that we'll then go in and re-upload the WP admin, the WP includes. We're going to leave WP content alone. We don't touch that. And of course, what we're going to do is re-upload these files as well. So these will be re-uploaded also. The only one we're going to leave out is the WP config sample. We're going to leave that one alone. We're going to leave that behind. You'll see me do that in a sec. Now I'm deleting the WP admin folder. So that's going to be removed. So we're deleting that as well. Now for those of you who need some reference, one of the pages that I like to go to is the full instruction, detailed instruction page, which is this one here, Codex WordPress, Upgrading WordPress Extended. Essentially, this one gives you all the information that you need to really go through and upgrade manually. Now, the big issue I had was, of course, that my client's website had been hacked, so I couldn't do the first steps, which was to verify backups, deactivate my plugins, which I needed to do, and obviously go through these steps here, back up your WordPress file. I usually just do an export, but like I said, wasn't able to do this because unfortunately the site's been hacked, so I've got to go down a different path, which is to delete these files. This is the first bit that I'm doing, which is delete all the old WordPress files. So the clear instructions here: do not delete WP config, the WP content folder, and those are the two big areas that I needed to focus on based on the version. Also, these are the folders and files that do get deleted, and you saw me do that as well. So WP admin folder being removed, the WP includes folder was deleted, and the other bits didn't count because it's a newer version. So I'm using FTP obviously to do that. So the next step will be to go in and hopefully delete the offending file that seems to be on here somewhere, and we need to get rid of that. So now what I'm going to do is re-upload the files, and this will be a dead giveaway if there's something to do with, like now I'm going to go back in here and check to see what's going on, and as you can see it looks like we've deleted that file somewhere. He must have put it into the folder. So this is looking a little bit messy now. You're sort of freaking out, but hopefully that's deleted that file that was causing the hack. So now what we're going to do is re-upload these files. Like I said, we're not going to include the one, which is this one. So that's the one we're going to leave out because we've already got the config file here. So we're basically going to reinstall all of these files and folders. This is going across to here, of course. So that's step one. Step two is to reinstall the WP admin. So we're going to re-upload that. Okay, so you can see now the WP admin folder is in. The other WordPress files are in as well. What we now need to do is include the WP includes. So we're going to put that across. So that brings it into this area as well. Now that we've done that, while that's happening, we're hopefully going to get to the stage where we get to run the WordPress upgrade program. Now, the other thing that we're going to do on this website is upgrade the theme. So find the latest version of the theme and update that as well. There are WordPress themes that have security threats or allow for hackers to get in. And sometimes it's caused by the theme itself, so it needs to be updated. Or the other problem you get as well is a plugin. So some plugins allow hackers to get in and attack the website as well through a plugin. So you'll find yourself either removing a plugin and deleting it, and I'll show you how that's done after this goes up. Essentially what you do is you're going to go into your WP content area, and then I'll show you in a second how you delete certain plugins because they need to be updated. So I like to do these things manually, especially if a hack has gone into a website, mainly because it definitively removes those files from the hosting area, because sometimes what happens when you do automatic updates and things like that, they may leave files behind that are the ones that have been hacked. So these hackers are pretty clever. They know how to leave files in areas where they suspect WordPress won't delete it. So that's your big issue as well. A lot of the time you're finding yourself having to remove files manually with this FTP version. Okay, so all the files and folders have loaded up now. WP admin is in. Remember, we left the WP content alone, so that's still there. The WP includes, and then all these files were changed. Now, don't worry about these .html files. They're not going to be on your server, obviously, because you're running a different website. But this was an old HTML section of the site. Now, the other thing I can show you here is when you go into your WP includes, you're going to have some plugins. And sometimes you need to manually go in and remove the old plugins as well. Okay, especially if you suspect that there might be a corrupt file in amongst one of them. The other thing that you're going to do is delete an old version of someone's theme, just in case that's incorrect as well. So hopefully we can go back to the site. And there it is restored. Okay, so the site's restored. It's back to normal, all based on what we did just then. Okay, so the hacked file was somewhere in amongst all that. We got rid of it, which is good. Next step is to go in and update all the plugins, back up the database. And so we're going to do that now. So essentially what we're going to do is log into this client's website and we're going to fix everything up. Okay, so now that we're back into the website, one of the first things I'm going to do is go into Export, Tools, Export, and we're going to choose to export the entire content. So once we've done that, we've exported all the content, and just in case there's any issues anytime, we've got all his content backed up. And of course, I'll put that in a spot where it's in the client's folder. The next thing we're going to do is go into WSD security into the database, and we're going to back that up now. So I like to do backups just to make sure everything's safe. And the next thing we need to do is go into the plugins, installed plugins, and we're basically going to deactivate everything and reinstall all new versions of everything. So what we're going to do is deactivate all of these, and we're going to basically, because this site was hacked, we're going to do a manual update of everything. So we just deactivated everything here, and we're going to basically go back into here, into the plugins area, and we're going to start to manually update everything. So what you're going to see happening is all of these get deactivated one after another, or sorry, deleted, and then we re-upload the newer version of everything as well. So the way to do that is you go back into the plugins and you just reinstall it. And you do that with every single plugin. you go to the WordPress plugins page and find all the new plugins that you've got, all the new versions, and download the ones that you need. So contact form 7, we're gonna put that in there as well. So the Kismet's brand new again. Contact form 7 is that one, but we're going to delete it first. So we delete that, and that's what you do for all of them. You just delete each one and then you re-upload. So I'll just do another one here. Okay, and then we're going to bring in the new one as well. So this is the way to do things, I think, for anything that's been hacked. We just go through each of the plugins. We'll do the same thing for the theme as well. And generally speaking, when I'm dealing with a theme, I usually like to go into the editor and just copy this bit here. This is the bit you need, just in case there's a file that needs to be referenced. But look, if there's any specific styles unique to the client that you've done in this section, by all means, what you need to do is go in and make sure that those styles are copied and pasted back in. And I just basically did a copy there, and I might paste that into a text editor file just in case that doesn't appear when we do the update. So now I'll go back into here, and you can see the contact form 7's back in. But for now, what we're going to do is go into, we're going to go into themes. We're going to delete this old folder, and we're going to put the new one in as well. So what happens here when you're dealing with a theme is make sure that there are no unique files in a theme. I generally find that if you're going to do updates and upgrades to a theme, especially CSS, you're generally better off putting all the CSS rules in here, because it's so easy to just copy and paste them back in, or create a file and bring it in via the @import rule. So they're the two best ways to bring in your CSS custom for any specific theme, especially if it's very, very specific to the client. Then by all means, bring it in like this. This is the cleanest and easiest way to do it. So what we're going to do now is update the UDesign theme. Okay, so the next step now is to update the theme. So we've deleted the old theme, and we're just going to bring this one across now into the themes area in the WP content folder. So we're just going to click on that. Now, while that's happening, what I can also do is delete this old index.php file and replace it with a new one from the WordPress codex in the WordPress, the new installation. So you'll go into the WordPress, the new version of WordPress, go into the themes area, find the index.php folder or file, and replace it with this old one. So you can do that as well. Now, while that's uploading, this is a manual upload, and so the old theme has been completely removed. Okay, so now I'm going to delete the index.php file here. That's deleted the old one. Go back into here, WP content, themes, and grab this one instead, and just bring that across. So I've just also deleted the old index.php. I think sometimes you'll need to do these sorts of things when you've had a hacked site, just to make sure that those files aren't corrupt. So the same with the plugins now. It's time to go through and just start deleting everything one by one. The all-in-one SEO pack, we've got to go through and delete that. Now in this case, we've got about 2, 4, 6, 7 plugins We'll get rid of that now and then go back into our plugins area. And you take the latest version and you put that back in. Now, just in case, sometimes occasionally you'll have to just check that it is the latest version, but you'll know it straight away. Now, I'm going to go through and do that for each one of these plugins to make sure that they're all up to date. And of course, when I go to the front in the dashboard and then go into the plugins area, I'll be able to see that that's the case. So for example, I just go here and I'll be able to check all the plugins are up to date once I've done a refresh. So for now, what I'm going to do is check that the theme itself is installed. So we're going to activate that. Okay, and we're going to put all these items in. So we'll get these activated. The new design theme requires the following plugin, Revolution Slider. Now, what I'm going to do before I go too far into this is delete these and then do the installation. So I'm going to go back into the file area. And anything that's doubled up, I'm going to delete first before I go and do that. So let's have a look. There's get the image, right, are currently inactive, and WP page navi currently inactive. So we're going to basically allow it to do all this itself. So get the image, we're going to basically, let's just do that now. Get the image is going to be deleted because it's an old version. Okay, we're going to go back into here. This is the newer one. Okay, so that's been updated. And then we've got WP page navi. So we've got to get rid of that one. And just to make sure we're dealing with the latest one, I usually just check the dates here. So this is the one we need. You just check the date here to make sure it's the latest one. And if it's not, just go back to the original plugin on the WordPress and just make sure it's the latest one. But look, if I look at it here, it's March 11, and I can go back to the plugins and I can just have a look up here to see if I can find it. I'll search for it. So we'll go WP and you've got to make sure it's the right one. And the update there is about the right date. So it's the last update at 2013, March. Okay, so you can see that's correct. That's generally speaking how I check it, and you can see that's fine. So that is the latest version of WP page navi. I'm also going to check to see what else is going on here. So we've updated that, and we need to now double check that we've got this one here, WP125, and I'm just going to basically go begin installing plugins, let it do that. I'm going to install it. I'm going to activate that. Just going through everything now. Some of these other ones I'm not going to worry about. Certainly not the WooCommerce integration for this client. They won't need that. So just have a look at the website now. It looks like that's back to normal. So that's pretty cool. The next thing to do now activate the Akismet key, activate now to make this easy for yourself. So Google XML sitemaps, generally speaking, what I do is when I'm trying to find the latest version, I'll just click on this, open a new tab, and this is how I quickly get to the page. You just go to the plugin page here, and if we're doing a manual download, just download the new version and then bring it across to your folder. So that's just a quick bit of workflow in terms of getting the plugins. So the next stage now is to update all the plugins. Okay, so finally we've gone through the World Taekwondo Center website, and the last thing we had to do there was the installed plugins to check they're all up to date. So they're all up to date now. The theme was switched, so we went through and updated the theme as well. And so we set that up. Now, any customizations that I do for this theme, I'll do on a separate style sheet. I should be able to see the editor, so for some reason I can't see that at the moment, so I might have to actually call the hosting company and sort that out. But essentially, you should be able to see the style editor in here, which I'll be able to get that sorted shortly. So any custom styles that are done can either be added to this section here where you go appearance in the editor, or B, you do a separate style sheet and upload it through FTP. So thanks for watching, guys. That was basically restoring a site that was hacked. There are extra advanced things that you can do, so we'll probably cover that in another video, but for now at least we've restored the website. But definitely there are extra security measures you need to take to avoid having a site being hacked again.